This young man is Deng Qingshan, a once-in-a-millennium martial arts prodigy from the martial sect Kuan Yin clan. Gifted with extraordinary talent and possessing unmatched perseverance, he trained day and night without fear of hardship. By his 20s, he had already ascended to the rank of pre-heaven expert, a level that would normally take ordinary people 100 years to reach, if they could at all. Yet all of this was lost in a conflict over a girl with the young master of Tongguo Island. The protagonist inadvertently triggered a fierce war between the two sides, resulting in the death of the woman he loved and the passing of his master, who sacrificed himself to protect him. Even the protagonist himself was severely injured, falling from the pre-heaven rank after being struck by a senior expert from Tongguo Island. He had to flee in a critical state, and the entire Kuan Yin clan was wiped out. The protagonist blamed himself, but upon reflection, he realized it wasn't his fault. The true cause was a mysterious key called the Nine Summit Order that he had stumbled upon during an adventure. This key drew the wrath of Tongguo Island upon the Kuan Yin clan, as it was said to unlock a hidden treasure left behind by the first supreme martial sovereign, an artifact of unimaginable power. Thus began the protagonist's journey of vengeance, carrying the Nine Summit Order, vowing to avenge his master and lover. Along the way, he would even force the 9 great clans of the world to bow before him. How the story unfolds is revealed in the film Day Escape, set in a parallel world to Earth, a world that has yet to be fully formed. This world contains the celestial realm, human realm, and demon realm. The first human of this world possessed overwhelming power, able to split mountains with a single strike. He declared himself the martial sovereign and divided the world into 9 provinces, each corresponding to a domain ruled by the 9 great clans. The highest rank among martial artists was known as pre-heaven. However, legend speaks of a rank beyond pre-heaven, the void stage. Any martial expert who could break through to the void stage would gain the ability to open space-time portals and escape this parallel celestial realm. The martial sovereign had achieved this feat. Before leaving the realm, he left behind his axe, which could split mountains. Even after hundreds of years, the great clans were still searching for that axe, hoping to uncover the secrets of the void stage and open the path to space-time travel. In the race for the axe, the Iron Will sect and Tongguo Island formed a temporary alliance and successfully located the hidden map containing the martial sovereign's techniques. While the 20 allied sects celebrated their discovery, the leader of the Iron Will sect was ambushed and killed by Tongguo Island's agents. It turned out that Tongguo Island had planned all along to monopolize the martial sovereign's treasure. The sect leader of Iron Will had trusted Tongguo Island too much and did not bring many followers, which became his fatal mistake. With his last strength, he entrusted his disciple with the key capable of unlocking the martial sovereign's treasure. He ordered the disciple to spread news of the treasure across all the major clans so that Tongguo Island would not be able to monopolize it alone. All the rest were eliminated, and Tam Do Day became the first casualty. The next was Dang Tanfeng's close senior martial brother. Witnessing his senior being killed right before his eyes, Dang Tanfeng still maintained his lightning-fast speed to confront the subordinates of the young master. He even easily took the life of a top-tier innate expert in a white cloak. Only then did the young master realize the threat and ordered the elite, black-clad experts under his command to act. Dang Tanfeng recognized that this man named Chu was also at the innate level like him. Therefore, he didn't risk fighting Chu, instead choosing to protect his junior sister. Tanfeng waved his arm, clearing away the men surrounding Dai Ho and Tang Nin. Fan Nin handed Tanfeng a strange ancient key. Of the original 40 companions, only 3 remained alive and rushed back. On the young master's side, his subordinates couldn't find the key on Tam Do Day's body, so they were certain it had fallen into the hands of the 3 survivors from Kuyan Tam. The forces of Dao Tang Ho planned to launch an attack on Kuyan Tam, taking advantage of the fact that Dang Tanfeng had just killed their innate white-clad expert. Thus, all members and relatives of Dao Tang Ho gathered and headed to the Kuyan Tam stronghold. The sect leader of Kuyan Tam was Jia Cat Lao, while the sect leader of Dao Tang Ho was Chak Ko, who always claimed their sect followed strict rules and never interfered with others. But Dao Tang Ho's aggression now threatened the balance among martial sects. Chak Ko pretended to listen, but ignored reason. Though the leader of Dao Tang Ho, he acted worse than his own son. Backed by a powerful elder from Du sect, he feared no sect in the martial world. Tang Wai was the beloved daughter of Jia Cat Lao. As soon as the young master saw her, he continued with his arrogant words. He even brazenly proposed that Jia Cat Lao marry off his daughter to him, so the 2 sects could form an alliance, and Dang Tanfeng would have to hand over the ancient key to fulfill that condition. Only then could the feud be settled. Despite hearing this, Jia Cat Lao remained calm. This composure truly befitted a sect master. Since the enemy mentioned the ancient key, he wasn't in a rush to force Dang Tanfeng to surrender it, as he had a hunch that this key would unlock something great. However, the fact remained that earlier in the day, Dang Tansan had killed Dao Tang Ho's white-clad expert. My cultivation level has reached the void boundary. It's just that I haven't yet unlocked the mysteries of space-time through long-term training. Even so, I can already be considered one of the strongest among the 90,000 sects. This old man may have lived long, but he lacks virtue. His personality is stubborn and aggressive, just like the descendants of that family. Because he belongs to the Thanghill sect, there's constant conflict between them, with no clear right or wrong. Even though Dorian used his Heaven Root sword formation to battle the innate rank of Dan Thorn, his current cultivation level was no match. Had it not been for Garrett saving him from a fatal blow, he would have died. Then Darrow took Dan Thorn, who was severely wounded, and fled. Now only Garrett remained to face Dorian. Garrett had also reached the void boundary. He transformed into his demon form, the Little Garrett Fiend. Dorian, at nearly 550 years old, could only unleash his strongest ultimate move twice. This fight with Little Garrett Fiend forced him to use it. A tremendous force shook the heavens and exploded. Darrow and Dan Thorn, seeing their master had fallen, could do nothing but retreat to preserve their lives, but due to exhaustion, they collapsed halfway. In the darkness, shadowy figures of 1 to 3 witches appeared. After 3 days and nights, when Dan Thorn awoke, he was reunited with someone who looked just like his cousin Thorn Nye. But she was actually Miss Lyra, daughter of the sect leader of the Heavenly Caravan sect from Divine Sky Mountain. Both Darrow and Dan Thorn were saved by her, and there were no witches at all. Her caravan roamed all over the 4 territories, and their next stop was Stormring Ridge. That place was home to the Linglong Pavilion, said to hold the finest weapons under the heavens. Miss Lyra explained everything, but because her face resembled Thorn Nye so closely, Dan Thorn took a while to accept the truth. That night, by the campfire, Dan Thorn confided in Darrow. He revealed he had fallen from the innate rank. To cultivate back up would take a long time, so avenging his master and little sister was not possible yet. Miss Lyra took the initiative to talk with Dan Thorn. She showed him a Thang Feng went up there saying he didn't like it, but his hands still tightly held the jade bead without care. Now, Lady Li resembled Thang Er too much, so when she held the jade bead, Thang Feng couldn't help but feel confused. Meanwhile, on Thang Lake Island, a powerful master appeared and terrified the guards beside Old Lady Gu. She sensed an extraordinarily strong spiritual force. That person was the same sorcerer who had appeared in Thang Feng's dreams. His strength equal to Old Lady Gu. Old Lady Gu slashed at him, but only a piece of cloak was left on the ground. The master introduced himself as Boy Tam. He wanted to join Old Lady Gu in finding the treasure of the Martial Emperor. Old Lady Gu sent Jack Gu to investigate, but could not find any information about Boy Tam, leaving her helpless. Still, she reminded Jack Gu not to act childishly anymore, and to quickly reach the Flowing Realm, or Thang Lake Island wouldn't survive for long. Just earlier, Jack Gu promised not to be childish, but soon after, he sneaked off to find his cousin, just to gossip about that servant named Chew right in front of him. Hey, how could you say Chew, our family's heirloom martial arts inheritor, is useless? If he heard it, it would break his heart. If you want to talk, do it in private. Chew heard it all, but could only clutch his chest in pain. Though he seemed dull, the two cousins understood. Old Lady Gu could only risk one final command. If the matter got exposed, everyone on Thang Lake Island would be hunted by the sects they once allied with. The next day, both the Celestial Chamber Caravan and young Master Gu headed to Phoenix Pass. There, young Master Gu accidentally encountered Lady Li and was startled by how much she resembled Thang Er. By now, Lady Li had brought Thang Feng and Dai Hu to her family's commerce guild. Staying there ensured no one dared harm them. Still, she refused to return the jade bead to Thang Feng. Dai Hu could tell Lady Li had feelings for his big brother. The next day, as promised, Lady Li brought Dai Hu and Thang Feng to Linglong. The Beast King was extremely dissatisfied with Thang Feng's virtue and ability, so he immediately bestowed upon him the Heaven Axe and many other spirit beasts. The fat one standing nearby felt indignant and spoke ill of Thang Feng, only to be slapped and sent flying by the Beast King. The Beast King refused to give him any spirit beasts or even allow him to stay. One of the Beast King's subordinates roared so fiercely that he soiled himself. The top-grade gift the Beast King wanted to give Thang Feng was the Spirit Axe, weighing 80 jin. It was a great treasure. If Thang Feng could wield it, it would mean the axe had recognized him as its master. The moment Thang Feng held it, the axe immediately activated on its own and accepted him. Meanwhile, the humiliated fat one at Linglong Pavilion ran to Beast Lake Island to inform young lord that Thang Feng was hiding at Linglong Pavilion. The fat one demanded the 100,000 gold reward immediately, but the young lord insisted on verifying the identity in person first. Back at Linglong Pavilion, the Beast King wanted to give the axe to Thang Feng, but Thang Feng only wished to borrow it, promising to return it once finished. At this moment, the young lord arrived with his men to cause trouble. He didn't realize that no one was allowed to fight at Linglong Pavilion. Violators would be punished by the Beast King. Fortunately for him, Mage Zhao Fayu arrived just in time to stop the battle. Zhao Fayu respectfully bowed and apologized to the Beast King, pleading for leniency on behalf of the young lord. The young lord had no choice but to withdraw. Furious at not obtaining the key, he turned on the fat one, who had come to collect his 100,000 gold, and beat him until he trembled with fear. Then he turned to Thang Feng and threatened that if he did not hand over the key within 1 hour, he would kill Thang Feng's guardian master. Thang Feng suddenly realized that Dai Ho, who went out to buy food, had not yet returned. He had likely fallen into their hands. So Thang Feng followed orders and went to the city gate to meet the young lord. Indeed, Dai Ho was tied up by them. The weather turned gloomy, and the rain seemed to cry out in anger for Thang Feng. All of Thang Feng's close ones had been killed by the scum of Beast Lake Island. He truly wished to tear the young lord apart. But the mage beside the young lord was too strong and constantly protected the coward. While the mage and his subordinate were bullying Thangfeng, a top expert couldn't stand it anymore and rescued Thangfeng. She was the old demoness of Red Soul Mountain. Though she had lived 100 years, her beauty remained like that of an 18-year-old girl. She once joined the same sect as Beast Lake Island, but was betrayed by them, thus seeking revenge through Thangfeng. From her cave, she sensed the spiritual presence of a void-level expert and teleported to investigate. That expert had released news about the treasure of the Martial Emperor. Upon hearing of it, the leaders of the 8 great sects rushed over to get a share. Such a precious treasure couldn't be given to just anyone. If one lacked the strength to claim it alone, it had to be shared among the 8. The expert from Yin River added the old hermit could only make one last. Indeed, he was holding Lady Lai hostage. That bastard believed Thangfeng had no relatives left, so he captured Lady Li, Thangfeng's lover, to force him to surrender. Thangfeng easily broke through the heaven-split formation of Beast Lake Island. His lover managed to save Lady Lai. The two were chased to a deep abyss, but did not hesitate to jump down. The young lord's cowardly men didn't dare jump down to check and concluded that Thangfeng had perished in the fall. After completing the mission, the young lord eagerly went to report the good news to his father, who foolishly believed him without question. At this time, the various sects had all gathered outside the cavern gate, waiting for the treasure to be revealed. He proposed each sect leave a few men to guard the entrance and send their 5 strongest members inside to assess the situation. The key was inserted, and the cave door slowly opened. One by one, the sects entered. The first trial they faced was the Fireflies of Light. Though they looked beautiful and harmless, they were in fact flesh-eating weapons. The old demoness warned everyone, but she was the first to be consumed. Outside, Thangfeng, still alive, reappeared. The gatekeepers were no match for him, especially with his terrifying divine axe. Frightened, they opened the gate for him. Upon entering, Thangfeng met the wife of the sect leader of Tiet Ung sect. Her husband had left her outside, fearing for her safety. Thangfeng struggled through the magnetic field and reached the battle zone, which turned out to be a strategic chess formation. Only 2 players could move inside, while the rest remained frozen by the formation. No one expected Thangfeng to still be alive, much less that his innate power had returned. He sent his spirit into the formation, where spirit beasts representing each contestant would battle. The loser's owner would be burned alive. The second battle lasted till night. Inside, spirit beasts lurked everywhere. Zhao Feiyu's disciple was seriously injured while fighting them and had to lie still, but Zhao urged him to protect the young lord. Zhao then rushed off. Soon after, Thangfeng appeared and risked his life to save Zhao's disciple. He acquired the whistle used by Beast Lake members to signal each other. He soon encountered a wild wolf, but sensing Thangfeng's unique energy, it fled. Meanwhile, even a minor sect member frightened the young lord. If Zhao hadn't arrived, he would have died. Still, he arrogantly ordered Zhao to continue searching for the treasure with him. Upon hearing the whistle, the enemies hurried toward it, unaware it was blown by Thangfeng. When they got close enough, Thangfeng revealed himself. Zhao, once his equal, was now overwhelmed and became food for the wild wolf. Thangfeng continued pursuing the young lord, reducing him to a helpless chicken. Zhao reappeared, and the 3 were sucked into a void realm. Only one door led out, but it was about to close. Zhao begged Thangfeng to spare his son, but sprinted toward the door himself. The young lord also ran for his life, but Thangfeng didn't allow him another escape. The young lord was abandoned by his father and killed by Thangfeng's sword. At this moment, Thangfeng was free of attachments, but trapped in the eternal void. Zhao, still grieving, saw others comprehending the martial emperor's techniques and rushed to join them. Then, a mysterious expert appeared, on par with the old hermit. Yet, he didn't want to fight anymore. In the void, Thangfeng was speaking with the martial emperor through an image. The martial emperor called him special. He chose not to flee, but to shoulder his sect's burden. He realized the true door of rebirth lay behind the door of death. Thus, the martial emperor passed on his profound martial arts to Thangfeng. When Thangfeng returned, he represented the mysterious Master Bui to duel the old hermit. The hermit didn't expect Thangfeng to surpass him by passing the trial and reaching the void realm, a level he had never attained despite years of cultivation. He unleashed his final sword strike. Thangfeng met it with his full power and pierced through him. Outside, the sect leaders who had comprehended the martial emperor's art joyfully rushed out. Zhao didn't expect to lose both his son and his master overnight.